Driving into San Diego, and I fucking hate that city. Hate being in the fucking city. There's a reason I live an hour and a half outside the city. Got to drive into the city because I ordered some shit on Amazon and they completely fucked me over. So now I got to go buy it from the store. I ordered a shed from Amazon, and when it showed up, I was missing parts. And the manufacturer doesn't want to send the parts or a refund. So I got to go buy a new one. Driving to go buy a shed. I bought one on Amazon, and when it showed up, it was missing parts. So I contacted the seller, who basically told me, go fuck yourself. So now I gotta go buy a whole new fucking shed because I'm missing like 2 parts. So I'll fucking gotta go buy a whole new one and hope that Amazon will honor their shit and let me return the one that I bought. I've been fighting them with them for 2 weeks to try to get a replacement part. I need one fucking part, and the problem is the part that was not in the box when I got it originally was step 1 of the building process. I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but there's a whole shitload of fucking Jeeps over here. It's like a whole fucking Jeep club or some shit. There is some badass off-roading out here. I'm pretty sure I know where they went or where they're going. I'm gonna run in the store. I'll be back in just a second here. That's funny. Ouch. I was just talking to the dude in the store that is driving this big old trailer over here. Or pulling this big old trailer, asking him if he was going out or coming home. And he's on his way out to Glamis. So he's I asked him when he was riding, and he said he rides a quad, which I can respect that because I used to race quads. If he would have said he was driving a side-by-side, I would have told him that he was a piece of shit. Those things, side-by-sides out here are known as desert cockroaches, because it seems like when they hit the market, anybody and everybody that could finance one went and financed one and never learned the unwritten rules of the desert. Like, you know, it's pretty common sense. You know, you don't go hauling ass through somebody's camp. When you're in the camping area, you know, you kind of keep it mellow, keep it slow, look for little kids, keep the dust down, you know, just normal, everyday things that common courtesy, basically. You know, if you're, I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're riding in Arkansas, Minnesota, Tennessee, or California. When you're on an off-road vehicle and you come across a group of riders going the opposite direction, you give them the fingers of, you know, you hold up, you know, if there's 4 people behind you, you hold up 4 fingers to let the guy that you're passing or coming, you know, the opposite direction, let that group know how many people to expect behind you. And nowadays, you know, if I got, for instance, typically when I go riding, I ride with one other person. So I'll hold up 1 finger to indicate there's 1 person behind me. The side-by-sides, they'll give you 1 finger back, but that finger's indicating, you know, fuck yourself, rather than how many people are behind you. And then, you know, the side-by-sides, they'll go flying through, like, the camping area, like out at Glamis, right? They'll go flying through the camping area, and they don't slow down, nothing. They'll go 10 feet out of your camp at 75, 80 miles an hour. When you have little kids that are, you know, I mean, when I say little kids, I'm talking like, you know, little kids that are on like their little quads riding circles around camp. Well, these people just go flying right by. I can't tell you how many people I've seen actually hit by a side-by-side that were within, you know, 10 feet of their own camp. So that's why we call them desert cockroaches. That, and they really screw up the trails. You'll notice anywhere and everywhere that side-by-sides are allowed on like regular off-road trails, you'll start developing whoops. You know, like whereas the quads and the dirt bikes, you'll get a little bit of destruction of the trails, but the side-by-sides really fuck them up. All right, I'm driving into San Diego, dealing with the wind right now. It's wind at my house has been a steady 25 to 30 miles an hour all day. We had one gust that was like 85, but I gotta drive into, as much as I hate it, I gotta go to Home Depot. Shed on Amazon. Between dirt bikes and the hunting gear, my garage is really full. I can't even walk through my garage right now. So I took a deal on a 12-foot by 14-foot shed, and when it was delivered, it was missing a bunch of parts. Got a hold of the manufacturer, well, not the manufacturer, but the vendor, you know, third-party seller on Amazon. Told him, hey, gave him a list of the part numbers I was missing. And they responded with, oh, well, we're sorry that you lost the part. Basically a big old fuck off. So I've been fighting with them for coming up on 2 weeks now, trying to get this part. And I can't even start building the shed because the part that's missing is step 1 of the assembly process. It's the little rail for the floor, like the little channels that build the floor. Well, without that, you can't even freaking start putting the thing together. So for 2 weeks now, I've been dealing with Amazon and the seller, trying to get just the replacement part, and the seller basically will not send me the replacement part. The actual manufacturer of the shed itself is nowhere to be found. You cannot find any information on the manufacturer. So now, to get my refund on this shed that I bought, the vendor, which is a third-party seller on Amazon, wants me to pay to ship it back to them, and then they'll process my refund within 21 days. Well, the problem is the shipping on this thing, because it weighs 400 pounds, is over 600 bucks. I called UPS to get a quote on shipping, and it was like $630. The shed itself was 500 bucks. I've already also paid $150 in shipping to get the shed sent out to me. So it's cheaper at this point for me to go to Home Depot and buy another one and continue to fight with Amazon, and hopefully one of these days get my refund. So by the time it's all said and done, I'm going to be about 1,500 bucks into a $500 product. Well, it clears up to 1,700 bucks if you include gas, because I got to drive the truck to Home Depot, which gets I got about 8 miles a gallon on a good day. And right now with the wind at 25-30 mile an hour constant, I'm probably getting in the 5 to 6 mile range. So and gas being $6 a gallon out here in California, it's not cheap to go anywhere. I was joking with all my friends, like, it cost me $100 just to leave my house. And that's just gas. I could have taken the Jeep, but the wife's at work and she's got the Jeep, so that gets like 20, we're averaging like 26 to 28 miles a gallon in that right now. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it looks like I'm kind of drunk. Just because, like, I'm swerving in the lane. That ain't me. That's the wind. It's bad enough that if there was no traffic, I'd be driving down the middle of the two lanes right now. But it's been crazy wind. We had that big storm come through San Diego the last few days. The atmospheric river, or whatever the hell they call it. Apparently there was a bunch of flooding and all kinds of shit in San Diego. But out here in the mountains where I live, I got like a quarter-inch of rain. Not even enough to water the garden. I hate going this far west. When I lived on the outskirts of town, I thought, damn, I'm like way out here. And then I moved even farther out here. And now it's like, I don't even like going this far west. Like, I don't even go into San Diego to go grocery shopping. I leave San Diego County to go grocery shopping. Cheaper and it's closer. I do miss being 20 minutes away from the beach though. But I haven't been able to go surf since my shoulder surgery, so it's not even worth, being that close to the beach anymore. Our beaches in San Diego are fucking disgusting anyway. There's nothing but trash and homeless all over it. It used to be back in the day, you could go to the beach and you know, you hide your car keys like behind your tire and never have a problem with it. Now you're hard pressed to go to the beach and not have your car broken into. It's like you can't go from the parking lot to the sand without 5 people asking you for cigarettes or money. But right now we're about 45 minutes east of downtown San Diego, where we're at right now. Probably about an hour. We're closer to an hour from like downtown San Diego. We're heading towards San Diego. The only time I ever go this direction is once in a while we'll go to the casino out here, the Indian casino, which I just passed. We'll go out there and grab dinner, but that's about it. That's about as far west as I go. Unless I'm going deer hunting. Born and raised in San Diego County, and I hate being in San Diego. We got a couple of years until the wife retires, and as soon as she retires, we're out of here. I already hit retirement, so we're waiting on her, and her pension alone, just on her pension, we'll be able to go to any other state in the country and live like kings. Our plan is once she files her pension, her 401k, which is government, so it's different than a 401k. It's through the government, so less taxes, more of a they match more of what you put into it. So between her 401k, which is same thing as a 401k, it's got a different number attached to it because it's, you know, government. But between that and her pension, we can sell our house out here, go to any other state, buy a fucking compound, and pay for it outright. And then our only bills will be, you know, water, power, sewer, and groceries, property tax, which we've done the math, will be less than our mortgage. I have a buddy that just moved to Arizona. He bought his house out here in California 8 years ago. He paid just under $5 for it. I think he paid like $485 for his house. He sold it. He put it on the market beginning of January. He got a cash offer within 24 hours of putting it on the market for $1.3 million. So they sold their house. They went to Arizona, bought a house in Arizona for $500,000. So all in all, he walked away, you know, after paying off his mortgage on the house here and, you know, buying the house in Arizona and all that. He walked away and put $400,000 in his pocket, which is what we're going to do in San Diego. It's my current neighbor moved out to Midland, Odessa, Texas, and his lot that he has just has like a fucking single wide mobile home on it that he's trying to sell. And once he sells that motor home, he's going to sell me the lot. So I'll have a double lot that it's going to add a lot of money to my property. So, and I'm only going to pay him like under 50 grand for the lot because it's just raw land. He doesn't have water, power, septic, any of that on that property. So it's always been a vacant lot. And back in, I guess it would have been like the end of May, he put in that single wide mobile home. And never even finished the install on it. It's still on the trailer. So it's just sitting there. He's trying to sell that. But buying that and then having that double lot, I'll be able to sell my property for closer to $2 million, which sounds like a lot of money in all other 49 states. Shit. We just got to still figure out, still trying to pinpoint where we want to move to. I want to be within, basically I want to be within a day's drive of the ocean, just because of my tuna fishing habit. I want to be able to still go tuna fishing for a reasonable price. Look at this. There's a school bus towing a fucking school bus. That's something you don't see every day. But yeah, wherever I move, I want to be within a, the $49 Southwest flight, or like a 10 to 12 hour drive to the fishing, all the fishing boats, like all the landings and all that out here. Because those of you guys that know me and follow my channel, you know that hunting and fishing are like two of my biggest things. Well, those would be number 2 and 3. Dirt bikes are number 1, but I can ride dirt bikes anywhere I move. But the saltwater, the tuna fishing, can't really do that in places that are landlocked, like Kentucky and Missouri and Tennessee. You can hunt and you can ride and you can freshwater fish in all those spots, but when I do get out of California, I want to be within reasonable range to be able to come out and go tuna fishing. So we're about to come up to the Border Patrol checkpoint. And you guys have seen all these videos on YouTube of like people getting hassled by Border Patrol and all that at checkpoints. We're about to go through one right now, and I'll show you exactly how to handle it so that they just look at you and tell you to keep on keeping on. They don't care. They don't really screw with you much. They also have license plate readers and stuff at the checkpoint. And because I live in an area where I have to go through the checkpoint every time I come out this way, my plate's on file. And it pops up, they know my plate. So, but we'll see how they act today. During deer season, my exit from my deer hunting area is right past this checkpoint. So during deer season, they'd see me coming out here every day. They wouldn't even stop me. They'd just wave me straight through. So they got the cones in the middle of the freeway to kind of dictate which lane. I usually take the left. Today I just took the right because it looks like, usually the right lane's got all the semis and all the motors take a little longer to get through. So I'm coming up to the guy right now. There's three cars in front of me. I should have took the left lane, but whatever. Got my window rolled down. Just to be cool. If it's dark out, I'll like dim my lights. But this guy right here, I've seen this guy many a time. How's it going, man? Yeah, you too. Have a good one. See, that's it. That's it. Roll the window down. Be cool to them. And they'll, like you guys just saw, Border Patrol checkpoint, they looked at me, they're like, okay, white dude in a fucking truck. They can see that there's nobody else on the truck. The guy tells me, hey, have a good day. That's it. No bullshit, no hassle, no stops. It's as easy as that. But then again, I've seen, why did I lose service right here? I always lose service right here. But what I was saying was, the fact that I live, a 3-minute walk from the actual border wall, I know a lot of the Border Patrol out here. And, there's quite a few of them I know by first name. One of them, really cool dude. We're actually planning on doing a motorcycle ride together. He just bought a motorcycle that's it's a dirt bike with a license plate, and I know a bunch of spots in the Anza Borrego State Park where we can go ride because we're street legal. You cannot ride an off-road vehicle in a state park. However, in the state parks, anywhere you can take a highway legal vehicle, I can take my motorcycle, just because of the fact that it's got a license plate. So I'm going to take one of the Border Patrol agents out, and we're going to basically ride from the border all the way through Ocotillo Wells and into the state park, which is round trip. It's about a 300-mile day. So, but that'll be cool. I'll be out riding with Border Patrol. And there was just, if you look it up on Google, if you type in cartel shooting, San Diego County, it was a couple of weeks ago now, there was a couple of hikers that were shot and robbed by the cartel. And I don't know exactly what cartel, Sinaloa or whatever. I don't know exactly which cartel it was. But that happened less than a mile from my house. So, people ask me, why am I always carrying a firearm? Well, when you live in an area where the cartel is shooting people, you don't leave home without it. It's the 4-point check. Everybody, when you're leaving your house, it's like keys, wallet, phone. When you got your concealed carry permit, it's keys, wallet, phone, gun. This bridge we're on right now, it's called the Pine Valley Bridge. I did some research on it. It is the tallest bridge on any interstate in the country. Now there's state highways that have bridges that are higher, but none that are on an interstate. Which I found that kind of interesting. And it's, you see all the signs on the side of the road, like, Ben Franklin Memorial Highway or whatever. That bridge is named, it's, the Nello Irwin Greer Memorial Bridge. Normally those little memorial sections on the freeway are, highway workers or, cops, highway patrol or whatever that were killed in that location. That is actually named after the guy that, the architect that designed that bridge. It's also one of the stupid little kind of morbid statistic. It's one of the highest locations for suicide in San Diego County. Because if you jump off that bridge, when you hit bottom, it's nothing but rocks. So you basically turn it. And that's what they can find to you. Unless somebody sees you jump off that bridge, then it's going to take a long... there is a hiking trail that goes through there, but it's like 4.5 miles from the trailhead. So not many people actually hike down that. So by the time they do find you, it's usually a hiker that finds you, and that's after either the coyotes or the mountain lions have got to you. So there's generally not much left of you. But we're out in an area of San Diego that most people that come here for vacation don't even know this exists. Yeah, everybody comes out for the beach, but the beaches here suck. If you're going to come to California for the beaches, you're wasting your money. They're overcrowded, they're tiny. Our beaches, like our biggest beach in San Diego is like 50 yards wide. It's full of homeless, they're full of trash, and they stink. But if you go east of San Diego, out on the mountains, we have some beautiful areas out here. If you're into hiking or mountain biking or anything, there's some amazing shit in the we have mountain bike trails out here that you're pretty much, unless you're like hardcore Ironman, you got to take two vehicles. You got to drop one off at one end of the trail, you know, where you start. There's some of these trails, a lot of them are downhill. You know, I mean, you can go from the bottom and go uphill, but it's brutal. You're not riding back up a lot of these trails. Even on the dirt bikes, there's areas where me and my buddy go ride where we even made it back up the trails on the dirt bikes, but it's brutal. We'll take a truck, you know, we'll load both bikes in one of the trucks. We'll both drive to basically the end of the trail, drop off a truck down there, go back to the start of the trail, unload the bikes, ride the trail to the other truck, load up, and then go back to where we parked, you know, to start. Just because some of these trails are so brutal. But yeah, if you're coming to San Diego for a vacation, don't go to the beach. Don't waste your money on that shit. You know, I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying it is a disappointment. If you really want to go check out the beach and you're coming to San Diego, get your passport, go down to Baja, California. Once you get down past Tijuana is a total shithole. Once you get south of Tijuana, wide open, beautiful, clean beaches. You'll probably be the only one on the beach in a lot of these spots. You can ride, you know, there's four-wheeler rentals and horse rentals, and you can rent dirt bikes and side-by-sides and all that shit down there in Mexico and ride the beaches down there. They're absolutely beautiful. San Diego, our beaches suck. I actually prefer, when I go surfing, I prefer to go down to Mexico to surf. Cleaner beaches, nicer beaches, better waves, nicer people. And, you know, people think, oh, it's, you know, Tijuana, you know, that's like what you think of when you think of like Baja, California. You think of either Tijuana or Cabo. Cabo's a tourist spot. Tijuana's a shithole. But everything in between Cabo and Tijuana is fucking beautiful. If you ever have the opportunity to go down to Baja, California, go down the east side of the peninsula along the Sea of Cortez. Check out places like San Felipe. San Felipe is a cool little Mexican town. The Baja races go through there, like the Baja 1000. Those races go through there. But there's also a place down there, it's called Bahia de Los Angeles, or the Bay of LA. Probably one of the most beautiful spots on earth. I've been down there and just stopped just to look around. There's guys that have been racing the Baja 1000 that have stopped in the middle of the race just to get out and look around and take pictures of the Baja de Los Angeles. If you're a fisherman, that should be on your bucket list to go do a fishing trip out of there. You see a lot of these, like, you watch the outdoor channels and you see a lot of these guys that are down there fishing, like Laredo. Baja Los Angeles is not that far north of Laredo. You can hit them both in a single trip. If you're into historical and architectural kind of shit like I am, you really need to look on, I believe YouTube has the videos of it. If you look up the Trail of Missions, it's sponsored by Monster Energy and Cameron Steele. He's a Baja racer guy. If you just look up Trail of Missions on YouTube, or even just type in the Trail of Missions on Google, you'll find the videos. But Cameron Steele, like I said, he's a Baja racer. Does a ride every year where basically they load up, all the friends and family in the trucks, and they start off at the border in Tecate, which is just east of San Diego, and they drive down the Baja Peninsula to all of the old Spanish missions. Some of them are still standing, some of them are still in use, and some of them are, old ruins. But that is that right there, if you're into that kind of stuff, that should be a bucket list item for you. It's definitely on my bucket list, and we're actually in the planning phases of doing that trip. I finally talked the wife into doing it. She was always afraid of, Mexico has the rap, the bad rap for the cartels and the crime and the drugs. But that's mainland Mexico. Baja California, which is basically, it's just a peninsula. You don't have those problems down there. Baja is also, if you're a foodie, Baja is emerging as like an amazing place to go check out food. You'll have some of the best street tacos of your life, and then a lot of their sit-down restaurants are Michelin star style restaurants with taco shop prices. There's a place down there, actually in Tijuana, and I'm not sure exactly where it's at. I've only been there one time, and that was 15, 20 years ago. Guy I used to work with lived in Tijuana, and he crossed the border every day. So I was down in Tijuana one day, met up with this guy, and I went to buy some street tacos, and the guy's like, "Oh no, don't eat here." He's like, "I got a better spot." So he took me to this place. It's called Carnitas Arapan. And I didn't, the waiters, they speak English, but, very limited. This guy ordered for the whole group. He ended up ordering one of their, house specials, which I didn't understand what he's ordering, but he ordered carnitas. It was like a carnitas dinner. It was 4 pounds of carnitas with all of the beans, rice, tortillas, all the sides, the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, everything. It was like $17. And I'll tell you what, that was probably the best Mexican food I've ever had in my life. Had I known, I would have paid more attention to where the place is at, because it's nowhere near the tourist area of Tijuana. When you get down to Tijuana, most people walk across the border, and then just kind of walk into Tijuana. And there's one major section. It's called Revolution. Revolution is, the translation for it. Revolution Avenue is like, it's like their main tourist spot, just like you have in any other city. You got like Old Town Kansas City or whatever. It's just that little section of town that's, nothing but a bunch of little freaking storefronts and mom and pop shops and gift stores and all that. Revolution down in Tijuana is kind of the same thing. I lose service right here. There's a cell tower 200 yards off the side of the road, and I lose service. Revolution translates to in English. There's street vendors, selling Mexican crap, but there's also like street artists doing like clothing, leather work, and all that. Absolutely amazing talent. It's worth checking out if you go down there. But if you're gonna make the effort to go down into Tijuana, go down farther. Go out of Tijuana. Go south of Tijuana. The area, once you get out of Tijuana and you get away from the populated area down there, it's really beautiful. The mountain ranges of Baja, the deserts, the streams, the rivers, the beaches. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing down there. You can spend a year and a half, 2 years just, no schedule, no plan, just exploring Baja California and still not see it all. Just don't take any guns with you. Guns, they say guns are illegal in Mexico. That's an abject lie. Guns are 100% legal in Mexico. There's just a whole different process of ownership. They're more similar to Canada, where, to buy a gun in Mexico, to own one, you have to go through the federal government. You have to apply. You have to go through, it's just a lot of paperwork to be able to buy guns in Mexico. I've been down to Mexico. Guy I grew up with, his family owned a ranch in Tecate, which is, Tecate, Mexico, is a border town east of Tijuana. But his family owned a ranch down there, and they had a shooting range on the ranch. We'd go down there all the time and shoot. And I can remember plenty of times when, we'd be down on the ranch shooting, and we'd be at the shotgun range shooting trap, and the guy next to you is Mexican police, the federales, as they call them. We've had Mexican military down there, Mexican police. I've sat there and shot guns, drank beer, and ate. We did a big old pit barbecue, like where you bury the pig, like Hawaiian luau style. I sat there and partied it up with the chief of police from Tijuana. Super cool guy, corrupt as all hell, but they didn't have any problems with the guns. But like I said, man, if you're going to come out to San Diego for a vacation and you want to go to the beach, get your passport. You can get your little stupid passport card rather than the booklet if you don't have a passport. And the passport card just looks like, your standard issue driver's license, and you can cross the border with that. The only difference between the book and the card is that with the book you can fly. With the card, it's limited to basically, walking or driving across the border or being on a cruise ship. So if you want to fly to Mexico, you need the book. But just get your little passport card and go check out Baja California. It's absolutely beautiful. And like I said, if you're one of those people that are into history or architecture or any of that, I highly recommend looking up on YouTube the Trail of Missions. And you'll see a whole bunch of different ones. You'll see, every year they do it over. So you'll see different missions. You'll see spots along the way. Beaches and just all kinds of cool shit they go to on this tour. It's absolutely stunning, the amount of cool shit that's down in Baja. There's also, if you look up, there's a very similar deal. It's a little different. It's called the Rip to Cabo. It used to be called the Rip to the Tip. And they do the same thing. They cross the border here in San Diego, on like the outskirts of San Diego, and they ride dirt bikes all the way down to Cabo, which is like 1,200 miles. But they video the whole thing, and it's badass. Some of the stuff you see is just badass. It's all edited for TV, and to fill the 1 hour time slot on TV, so you don't really get to see a lot of the stuff. And it's kind of, in my opinion, the Rip to the Tip, or the Rip to Cabo as they call it now, and the Trail of Missions is kind of poorly edited. But it'll give you a chance to kind of check some of these spots out, see what's going on, and give you areas of like points of interest that you can then go back and take that area and do more research to figure out how to get there and where it's at, all the logistics of it. One thing I do like about the Rip to the Cabo and the Trail of Missions is a big part of what they do for these tour things is because it's all done by Baja racers. These are guys that race the Baja 1000 on a regular basis. Us off-road guys are really into giving back to the areas and the communities that support what we do. And Baja is a major, major, major supporter of off-road racing. The Baja 500 and the Baja 1000, which there's actually some badass documentaries on those as well. And you can go look those up and watch them. They're called, the best one out there is called Dust to Glory. It's done by Dana Brown. He's the son of the guy that did, like back in the 60s, he did like Endless Summer and all those kind of things. But like I was saying, one of the biggest things we have is like we like to give back to the communities that support what we do. So the Rip to the Cabo and the Trail of Missions, one of the things that they'll show you, as well as the documentary Dust to Glory, is they go to all these orphanages, around the cities down there, Tijuana, Ensenada, all of that, and they help fund, build, and supply all these orphanages down there, which in my opinion is amazing. They're putting tens of thousands of dollars into these places. They're building schools, they're building libraries, they're building housing for these kids. It's an awesome deal. It's worth checking out. But it's a bunch of shit, that you don't realize about Baja California. So it's a really cool deal to check out. I'll tell you guys again, you're probably sick of hearing it, but the Rip to Cabo, that's all dirt bike oriented, riding dirt bikes from California to Cabo. The Trail of Missions, that one's cool. They just basically take, they're driving the Ford Raptor now, which I'm not a big fan of the Raptor, but it's basically just like a family trip down through all the missions through Baja California. And then Dust to Glory. Dust to Glory is badass. That is an actual documentary on the Baja 1000 race itself, and that one's well worth checking out. They're all worth checking out, but Dust to Glory was a bitchin' documentary. It follows Mouse McCoy, his real name is Mike, Mike McCoy, he decided to race the Baja 1000 in the Ironman class, which Ironman is, you don't have a co-driver, you don't have a partner, none of that. It's you from start to finish. You're the only one on that bike for the 1,000 to whatever, whatever the mileage is. So they did a documentary following Mouse from start to finish. This fucking idiot just backed right out in front of me. They follow Mouse on the entire way up through the race, which is just absolutely badass. It really shows you what goes into not only winning the race, but actually being competitive and, just going point A to point B and finishing. This is ridiculous. Home Depot on a Saturday afternoon is not the place you want to be. God damn. Fuck, first person in a Tesla. It's everyone cool. He's letting me go. Alright. I'm just trying to find parking. It's fucking ridiculous over here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Front door parking. My power steering is going out, so it's getting hard to park this fucking thing. Alright guys, I'm here. I'm gonna run in here, do what I gotta do. Thanks for watching. If you guys haven't already, hit that like and subscribe, and go check out some of the other stuff on the channel. I got some really cool shit going on, and I got some, if you want to see the border wall, I got some videos of the border wall. There's one, the last one I posted up of the border wall. It's about an hour into the video where we actually get to the border wall, but go check it out. Anyway guys, we'll see you in a little bit. I'll be back after I'm done with the chaos here in the store. I'll go live once I get back out of here. But again guys, thanks for watching. Hit that like and that subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.